Hi, everyone. Welcome to the TimingResearch.com Analyze Your Trade for August 4th, 2022. And we are recording this at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and this is episode number 195. This series has been on a sort of hiatus for the last 3 months now, and we are, so I could switch it to a monthly format. And we had originally planned to have Jake Bernstein be here to be on this first one, but he ended up not being able to make it today. And so I contacted Sunny Harris, and fortunately she was available. And so I want to thank her for being on this first episode back from our break. So she's our guest for today, and you should be seeing her screen right now. And also the option professor of option is here to moderate. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to him.
Okay, thanks a lot, David, and welcome everybody here today. We had another big day in the market. Preview to the the jobs report tomorrow, and the claims came out today, and they weren't really too much different than what people look for. So we'll have to see what this jobs report does. But with us today is Sunny Harris, and Sunny's going to give a quick background on herself and also what's going on at Money Mentor.
Thank you, and thank you for having me sub in today. It's a pleasure to take care of the problem. I am host of MoneyMentor.com. I've been trading for 41 years. I'm a mathematician. You don't have to be a mathematician to be a trader, but it sure helps. And you can reach me at Sunny at Money Mentor anytime you want.
All right. Well, we got a list of stocks we're going to go through. Then we're going to go through some other stuff that you like. And then there's a few things that have been working out quite well for me that I'll be mentioning, and you can do a little analysis on them as well. So we got a lot to cover. Let's start out with the ones that people want to talk about, which is Tesla, TSLA. It was up on your screen already. And what's your analysis on Tesla?
Well, you can see I just went short today. I'm expecting a little bit more move to the downside on Tesla after some really nice moves up. Typically, when it moves up to the outer band, these are my sunny bands, the green bands with the teal bands inside, and the gold and purple lines in the center are my dynamic moving average. And you can see that's turned and crossed over. So gold is now on top, like it says right there. So gold is on top, that's bullish. But when price touches the upper band like this, and we've got a little tiny red bar there at the end of that, when that happens, it's usually a sign that we're going to move down a little bit. So Tesla's been pretty volatile with some wide swings going on.
Right.
I was long Tesla from right here where that yellow dot is and took profits right there.
Okay, so you think it could be a little bit of a pullback in the short run here, but a lot of those trends still look like they're pointing up, though, huh?
They are, yeah.
Yeah. So longer term, it still looks okay. Shorter term, you could get a pullback, that kind of thing.
Yes, indeed.
All right. What about Shopify? That stock really hit the tanker because it was obviously one of the high flyers as far as valuations, and of course that did not work out so well for people. As the compression in valuations has already occurred. We haven't seen any compression in the earnings yet. If that comes, then they'll have another set of circumstances. But what are you seeing here on Shopify, SHOP?
Well, I've got a orange horizontal line drawn right there, you can see.
Uh-huh.
I call these things attractors. Anything that attracts price to it or away from it, to me, is called an attractor. So you can see that this goes on this low price turning point right here and across all these tops. So I think we're about to take another little swing to the downside on that one too.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly,
do you have any that sideways action of consolidation? Is there anything that tells us which way it might break out of there?
No, no.
Okay. Because like I say, if it seems like it started breaking above 43, it might be on the bicycle.
Right. And the gold line is on top with the DMA, the dynamic moving average gold is on top. So that could be a little bullish.
Yeah. And it's come down from 180. So, bouncing back up a little bit to 60 is probably not off the screen. If in fact,
Well, here's another attractor right here. I haven't drawn it in, but you can see right there, there's lows here, highs
Mhm.
here. So that 77 would be a good target.
And where would be a decent breakout? Anything above 44?
Anything above this line right here. So 51 is, before I count it as a long stock, it would have to break 51
I got you. Otherwise, it's just meandering in that range of 30, 50.
sideways. Yep.
I got you. All right. Well, the next one up is Ford, and Ford is one of the ones that I've had, and it's really paid off in a big way. And looks like it's going to keep paying, or what?
Well, it's above this attractor right here, but it's coming from a lot of price activity in the past. It's above that. That's a breakout. But then again, see this red bar on top of the top
Well,
sunny
that's
band
okay. There you go.
right
Now I
there?
see it.
So
Yep. Now I
that
see it.
red bar, if the next bar goes down under the top sunny band, the upper
Yeah.
outer band,
Yeah.
then we're probably in a little bit of trouble. And on
Yeah,
the dynamic moving average histogram on the bottom, the vertical lines, you
Right.
see that last one just turned red.
Mhm.
That's a bearish sign.
Anything in 10 or 12 was a bargain. Up here, it's not a bargain anymore. But
Not
it could
right
be
now.
it could be longer term, yeah, because these guys have put a ton of money into electric, which is going to be the future, and they also are firing a lot of people, so their overhead's going to come down. And
On a
if
weekly chart, look how that looks.
yeah,
The real spike up there.
yeah, it was a great thing to own the last month, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it.
And like the story is good. The story is good. They're selling a good amount of cars. They're investing in the future. They're cutting overhead. So they're doing a lot of stuff that people would like to see if they want to see their profits run. But again, every dog does run out of gas a little bit. And this car looks like it could use a little petro, huh?
Yeah. Or a little electricity, perhaps.
Yeah, a little EV action.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it definitely has some upside potential. But be aware in case there's a pullback.
Well, and
Probably,
if we want to count waves, we've got 1, 2, 3. So 4 would be coming down at least to this level, if
Yeah.
not to this level.
right.
Yeah. And then the 5 wave on up.
All right, this next one is Google, GOOGL, and it looked like a real bargain right around 100. There's no doubt about that, but that bargain came and went. What does it look like now?
It looks like a whole bunch of sideways movement. It's touched the inner, upper inner band right here.
Yeah.
It has to get above this yellow dot at 119.82 to be going up. Otherwise, it's going to retrace a little.
And that green that's pointing down at 120 is a little ominous, huh?
Right here. Oh,
No,
you mean up here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah, that's squeezing it. So,
Okay.
price could go sideways again on this one to down.
Yeah. So those are kind of parameters that the stock may trade in for people who like to work with parameters. Buck 121 on the upside, 106 on the downside, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And this doesn't really give you any idea how long it'll meander in that range, though. That's the unknown, right?
Well, look at these swings. This is taking what, 8 or 9 bars, 7 or 8 bars, 8 or 9 bars. So I wouldn't be surprised to see another 8 or 9 bars go down.
Which is another 8 or 10 trading days.
Yes.
I got you. Yeah, because it had a big move, 104 up to there, and then all according how this jobs report does, and CPI next Wednesday. So we've got some economic news coming out, but looking for the economic news to get terrible has been like waiting for Godot. I mean, we had
Yeah.
we had durable goods. Supposedly nobody's going to go out and buy durable goods, but they're up 2%, which was way above estimates. And then of course services, according to S&P, services are at 47, which is a contracting number, and then ISM is at 57 almost, and that's an expanding number, and it was a surprise on the upside. So
But aren't those numbers a month late?
yeah, but they're the same as the S&P. But I mean, they're following the same thing. The services sector, and again, apparently there's quite a bit of spending going on out there. So it's confusing because sometimes different agencies have different numbers, I guess.
Well, I've heard that they're doing a lot of the spending on credit cards this day. Everybody's extending loans to themselves.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they're spending. And demand destruction and slack in the economy, which is supposedly what the Fed wants, certainly doesn't look like it's happening.
Not yet.
Not yet. Well, because we only see what we see. Next one up is going to be Amazon, another one that was a bargain around 100 and it took off.
And look at that. Look at that. It broke right out of that attractor and kept on going.
Uh-huh.
So that's, and it's the candles. I use blue candles on mine because it distinguishes them from my sunny bands. But
Yeah.
you know, that has some more room on the upside up to about here, which is 147.19.
See, when everyone is betting that the consumer is getting weak and the consumer is not going to spend, and then the numbers come out that the consumer is expanding their services expansion and they're buying durable goods, companies like this, and then everyone got caught on this one because everyone thought they're going to be Walmart. The guy who goes to Amazon is definitely in a different economic range a lot of times than the Walmart shopper. So people at Walmart on the lower income are having a much more hard time with the inflation than others. Plus, these guys have got the subscription people who actually pay to buy stuff on this thing. So
just about everybody I know has Prime.
Yeah. So I'm saying I think everyone really got fooled by two things. One is they thought they were Walmart, and they certainly aren't, because Walmart doesn't have AWS. That's number one. And number two is the customer over here is got a different spending pattern than Walmart,
I see a little different count here. We've got a 1 wave and then 1, 2, 3. So that's the 3 of a 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 5 of a 3. So it wouldn't be unexpected at all for that to retrace down into about here.
Yeah.
Down to the dynamic moving average line, which is right. It's 129.16.
Yeah.
And then go on up into here. 150 something.
Yeah, these markets, NASDAQ and SP and the S&P have both had pretty big runs. And again, it'll really come down to, some of these reports that are coming out that might turn the tide one way or the other pretty good. The VIX, I follow the VIX, obviously, and the VIX had a gap between 2150 and 2250 after it had run up towards 25. And so it did come down and fill that gap. So now if the VIX wants to turn to the upside out of this neighborhood, that might be an indicator that the market's rolling over as well. So I'd keep a close eye if I was trading on the VIX, because if it takes out 25, I think that, and if for whatever reason, is Apple up here? Let's take a look at Apple real quick. Because if Apple starts getting under 160 or 157 or 155 and the VIX jumps above 25, it seems to me that it's possible that we are going to have a correction of size.
Yeah.
So let's put up Apple real quick, because
it's up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Can you see where I'm coming from on that 2150 neighborhood? How that's kind of the bottom of your band there? On the VIX, you just had the VIX up.
On the VIX? Oh, we'll do the VIX.
This is what I'm seeing as might be important. The VIX is at the bottom of the band.
Yeah, on red candle, so it could go further.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's got a red candle. That's why it's on the verge. You know what I mean? If you start blowing out that, you'll probably take this S&P up to 4,300 if you start blowing out the bottom of that thing.
Yeah, that
and
can
then
happen.
And then
the purple lines on top on the DMA, so you can see that that's bearish, and it could easily move on down to this level.
Yeah. And then what about on the other guy, Apple? That was at the top of the
it was at the top of the bands. Last time I spoke with you, it was all the stocks were sideways to down. And now we've got a mixed bag here. It looks like some of them are up and some of them are down.
Well, it's had a heck of a run. I think, trading above 160, I think that 160, 155 is numbers, like, can you see if we started breaking under 160 and then maybe under 155? And for whatever reason, the VIX was jumping above 25. That would kind of indicate that maybe a correction of size might be in order, huh?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't find
though that this one's going to go on up to right there where the DMAs are, 169.
Yeah. Well, if they have a good report tomorrow that makes the market bullish, it'll probably be there in the morning.
Tomorrow's the report?
Yep. Jobs report. And it comes out before the opening. So
by the time I'm awake, it's over.
Yeah, that, and like I say, if it comes out where it's bullish, there'll be no sellers. So all the high frequency traders will be pressing the offer, and there'll be no seller,
Right.
and there'll be no sellers because the report is bullish, and ergo you can jump pretty good because of the illiquidity of the market. You know, this market, both bonds and stock, seem to be illiquid at times, and that's why the gaps are so big.
And a lot of short covering.
The Fed's not in there buying bonds either on mortgages or treasuries anymore. And that makes for some pretty different liquidity situation in the interest rates. And then the stock market, these high frequency guys, they just totally attack wherever the weak side is. So if the report was bearish tomorrow for whatever reason, and the bid went away, with all this stuff being so high, they could hit the
It could
bid.
move down pretty fast.
They could move down pretty fast. And that would, again, that would fall in line with, this stuff being at the top of the band and the VIX being at the bottom of the band, and maybe a reversal. So tomorrow and next week, going into that CPI report on Wednesday is probably going to be quite exciting, and maybe a little.
Well, I like that. Your mouth to God's ears. I like exciting.
Yeah. And a little hedging here and there might not kill anybody. All right, let's go to door number 6 here, which is ENPH, which I think is a energy thing.
Find my mouse.
Uh-huh.
There we go. ENPH. Wow.
Yeah, that's
Look at that go.
uh-huh.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. It's in a 3-wave up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got an attractor actually right here is where the high was. So if it moved down to that attractor and moved on up again, I wouldn't be surprised at that at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gone parabolic. There's no doubt about that. It would be interesting from an option standpoint, if you wanted to hedge that thing, to look at some different strategies to kind of protect that big gain. But whatever's going on, I'm not that familiar with the company as far as what the news was on it. But obviously, it got people on the wrong side at 228. And then
what would you hedge with?
Well, I would either look to do a collar situation where you take advantage of this volatility on the upside and you start selling some calls above the market, and then you buy puts with the premium. So that would collar the thing. It would give you an upside potential to a certain price, but it would put a floor underneath wherever the put was. And when the market's up like this, you got to figure the calls are enormously large, and so that's not a bad time to consider things, unless this thing has had news, and that's why I'm not that familiar with it. If it has the kind of news that's just going to keep the thing going and going and going, you just let it ride. But sometimes hedging things.
As you can see back here, straight up doesn't go on forever. And we get straight down.
That's what I'm saying. That's why, if they do turn it, sometimes it turns pretty fast, and that makes it difficult to. Do you okay, it's an energy, obviously it's part of the energy run that occurred with some of these companies that are making just tremendous amount of profits. And
of course, we have to see what China's going to do about Taiwan.
Yeah,
that could be scary.
Yeah, but this thing held up good today. It was up 2%, up another $5, and most of the energy stocks took it in the chin because it went underneath. So obviously, whatever they're doing in energy is not totally dependent on the actual price of crude. So, like I say, being not familiar with it, I wouldn't suggest anything to anybody. But the point is this is when I would be looking at investigating the hedging thing, simply because of the big extended run that it's had, and also because of the history of it rolling over like last November.
Yeah, so it's up 641 at the close. That's a pretty good move.
No, there's no doubt about it. It's got a pretty big, well, in the aftermarket, it has a pretty good bid offer, but everybody does in the aftermarket. Anyway, very exciting company to be in. So who's ever put that up, if you're in there, congratulations, you got a good one there. Next one up is IEF, which is the 7 to 10 year. Yeah, it's the 7 to 10 year Treasury bond. And obviously when rates go down, it goes back up. So
Right.
this is following your 10-year Treasury. And again, the 10-year Treasury's had a heck of a time holding on to any yield. I mean, it went from 0.5%, I think, or something, or 1%, and went all the way up to 3.5 on the 10-year Treasury. Then this week it hit about 250 almost. Then it snapped back up to like 280. That's what I'm trying to say. Without the Fed being in there buying treasuries and mortgages, they can move these prices around much more dramatically because there's not that liquidity factor. So
Right.
this thing here has done well because yields have gone from 3.5 down towards 2.5. I think they closed it around 266 on the 10-year. And so, the question is that is the Fed going to be aggressive on this inflation thing? And are they going to come back and do 75 points and even more? Or are they just jawboning? Because
I think they'll do another 75.
yeah, because credit spreads on the junk bonds to the treasuries have come way in, or to the investment grades. They came in 150 basis points. So that's not showing any kind of nervousness about higher rates or a weaker stock market. And then now the yield curve is inverting big time because the 2-year Treasury is going up in yield while the 10-year Treasury is going down in yield. And
no one wants to hold long term.
Well, no, what they're saying is the Fed is going to come in here and do a lot of hiking, and that's going to affect the 2-year. But after they do this hiking, this thing will slow down, and the 10-year cannot hold a higher yield because they believe, the way they're trading it, that the 10-year is going to be coming, is going to be lower yield because after they do all this hiking, things will slow down. And you're not going to be able to get a high, a decent yield on the longer term stuff. And again, that's what they say causes the recession is the high rates in the front end and the lower rates in the back end, the inversion. So
well, I think we're already in a recession. I
yeah,
think that
we're in a
slow.
The reason the slowdown is hard to debate is because if you look at the year over year, everyone's saying, oh, they beat earnings. Oh, they beat earnings. They beat estimates because estimates were dropped. But if you take a year over year comparison, I mean, Apple, Amazon, their numbers were shrinking from year over year. So that's a definite slowdown. Recession is, again, a little bit, it's hard to get a recession with the kind of money that's running around out there and everybody's working.
Everybody's working and they're spending on their credit cards. So they're going to keep spending.
Yeah. So that's what it seems like until they can't do it anymore.
And now before the rates go up any higher.
Yeah, maybe that is it. Anyway, we'll have to see what happens. Again, right now, the thing is definitely tilted to the upside in stock and downside in yields. So that's the way it's tilting right now. I don't know. That's what the Fed's objective is.
If you look at the upper outer sunny band here, the green one, price was on blue above it and then red below it, which turned this vertical line red. That's bearish. It's expecting price to go down lower.
Yeah. Which would mean, the yields are going to go up when the Fed starts saying to themselves, I don't know if you know what our goal is. It was called slack in the economy and a demand destruction. And I don't know that what the markets have been doing in the last month and a half fits anywhere into that plan. Yeah. So that'll be interesting. And fighting the Fed, I think we all can agree, is not the best way to go.
No.
Anyway, the next one up on the docket here is UCO, and UCO is the Ultra Bloomberg crude oil. And this one got nailed today because crude busted under 90 at one point. And again, everyone's looking for 140 crude and all this shortage of oil and all this and that. And it's gone in the directly opposite direction. So
yeah, and it's got an attractor right there where it currently is. So that can hold price from going any further down.
Yep.
But then we've got purple on top on the DMA. We've got purple showing on the histogram. Yeah. So it looks bearish still to me. Although this price right here could hold.
Yeah, like the VIX, they're both at levels where if they bust, it'll be like the dam busting.
Right.
And if they hold, everyone who's shorting down here is going to get trapped. So that's pretty much what the VIX is telling you. If you're buying a bunch of stock right now, and the VIX goes from 21 where it is now or something and starts going 18 or 17, you know, this stock market is probably going to break to the upside in a very big way. But if
Yeah.
this is the low on the VIX and we're going back to 25 or 27, you know, people that bought 4170 on the S&P are going to get trapped, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's very exciting. I think it's very exciting in the next week and a half to see
I think so
exactly
too.
how it unfolds, because I think by the middle of the month, well, yeah, by the end of next week, you know, we should have a pretty good idea of whether this thing is going to be able to take off or if it's a rollover time. And we'll
Yeah,
have to,
I'm still not convinced whether this is a bear market rally or if we're actually going up. I'm trading it from both sides.
yeah, that's why, you know, on the PDF report that I try to have people pick up, it's hedging upside surprises and downside risk. And I don't think that type of knowledge is going to, you know, it's not a bad thing to know about.
No, it's a good thing.
All right, well, let's go to number one, Qualcomm. Qualcomm, they always tell me, is cheap and it's got a great business and they're in every smartphone and it's just a lovely place to be. So what does it look like to you?
I love Qualcomm. It's a local company to me. It's just down the street a ways.
Yep.
And
San Diego.
I love their, yeah, it's a San Diego company. I love their products. They're building a new chip manufacturing plant. So I would buy Qualcomm again. Even
Yeah,
though
and they're
it's
heavy in
act-
China. They're heavy in China. So if China ever, you know, stops getting the flu, you know,
Yeah.
they'll probably be better off. Or if they stop keeping up, coming up with new variants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, or maybe if they stop doing military maneuvers around Taiwan, whatever's going on over there.
Yeah. They're bombing today.
Yeah. So I guess they're bombing
Fire.
into the water or something to show, I
Well,
guess
that's what they say. Yeah.
yeah.
Show off their equipment.
Well, this next one had a very, shall we say, sobering report, but people still love it. It's Micron Technology.
Yeah. This is cheap down here. It looks like the gold's on top on the DMA. It's hitting the upper band. It's right here at a heavy attractor at 65.79.
Right.
So that could mean some consolidation right around this price, but I think it's going to go on up. I think we're looking for 72.19.
I got you. Now, again, if anyone in the crowd there has any symbols that we haven't covered and they'd like to throw their hat in the ring, please go to the chat area there and give us some symbols to work with, and we'll be more than happy to review them and see what they look like on the sunny bands. And
maybe nobody's home because they wanted Jake.
Yeah, I don't know. No, they're there. They just are a quiet group. But let's see if anyone wants to put up a few symbols there.
Let's look at Microsoft a second.
Yeah, let's go to FANG because that's where everybody seems to trade anyway.
Yeah. Well, F is Facebook, so Meta. I'm not going to walk around wearing 3D glasses, virtual reality glasses on my face.
No.
I don't know about this Meta, how it's going to actually transpire, you know?
Well, I'll tell you, as long as they have the eyeballs, you have to respect them, and they still have a tremendous amount of users. So that's a good thing. But if their users are not into their products or their ad sales or whatever, their ad prices, I think, dropped 14%. So they had some very sobering numbers on some of the places where they do make money. And now they came out with a big debt offering, which I think, and this is the first time they had a debt offering. I don't know, is that a good or bad thing that they're borrowing money and they're down in price 2/3, you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah, they're definitely down.
Yeah, because most people, let's see here. Okay. Yeah, most people. Yeah, I was trying to see. Somebody looked like they had a question or something, but I think they have to post it in the chat box for us to actually see it.
Yeah.
Well, our mind reading days are behind us, so you have to post it on the chat box there. Okay, well, do you have any? Okay, let's go with that. That's Meta. And what are the other? Well, we already looked at Google. What about
Yeah.
Microsoft and Apple? We took a little peek at Apple. Let's take another.
That's it, MSFT. There. And it's above the attractor. It's got room to go on the upside.
And what's the little gold bars that are just beginning to peak out? That's bullish.
That's the buy signal, yeah.
Okay. So again, like I say, you know, it looks to
Buy
me.
signal thing right there.
Yeah.
When
And
it turns green.
it looks like it's going to, these things are either going to bust to the upside and you're going to bust down on that VIX and it's going to be a little bit of a stampede, possibly up towards 4,200 to 4,275 and maybe pretty quick. Or
It looks to me like Microsoft's going to 289.52.
Yeah, that's a target up there.
That's a target.
Okay, and that's where it's pointing. So that's, you got to respect the fact that it's already pointing in that direction, right?
Right. And so it's got 6 more points if anybody wants them.
What about Netflix? They were a bargain underneath 200. It looks like.
Yeah, it's still a bargain, but it's not. I mean, it's out of its little sideways congestion here,
Mm-hmm.
but look how slowly it's turning. Slowly I turn. So I don't think that one's out of trouble yet. I mean, the goal is up here at, what is that, 334 and change.
Yeah.
But so that's 100 points if it gets legs and does that.
Yeah. Well, if they're going to listen, a 61% retracement from 4,800 and 3630 takes you at about 4,350, which is 200 points higher than we are now. And if you got 200 points higher than now, some of this dramatic price stuff we're talking about here could actually unfold. So that's why, like I say, it's a very exciting time for the market because it's kind of in a ledge right now where it could either go either way.
It really could. It hasn't really shown bull market strength yet.
Yeah. The thing is that after next week, we will be a little bit in a desert for information for a while, in that the earnings will all be in. And then basically the Fed's not around. And Jackson Hole will be coming. And I'm sure at Jackson Hole, they're not going to be saying we're going to ease money and credit so we can get the S&P back to 5,500. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And get the inflation rate up to 15%. So, you know, that's probably going to be a pretty sobering meeting there if prices are anywhere near where they are now.
When's the Fed going to meet again? October?
Oh, they're going to have a fishing expedition or whatever they do over there in Jackson Hole, but there's not a policy meeting. The next policy meeting's at the end of September. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, once they did the hiking of 75 and he gave this little hint out there, at some point we're going to pivot. Well, everybody just said, and then of course the numbers came out that weren't disastrous on the earnings. Well, then you caught everybody on the short side and then boom, you go up like this very quickly, which is what happened. Now the question is since we've had this big move, is, you know, without any more news of earnings coming out after next week, and you get a CPI print if it's not very good, you know, will the market be able to keep going? And that's going to be the big question looking forward. Did you hit a button that changed your chart there?
It's still Netflix.
Okay. There you go.
You see it?
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
And
my
then
computer is totally unreliable. I told David it's been crashing and they reformatted the whole thing yesterday.
Let's put up NVIDIA. You know, everybody loves to trade the semis.
Boy, that's a big Head and Shoulders. Right in here somewhere is the bottom of the neckline of a big Head and Shoulders, which is probably the most failed pattern we know in technical analysis. So it fails up and then drops down after that. And we're at the top of the sunny bands. We're still on a blue candle. We're still on gold vertical lines right there.
Yeah.
That's still bullish.
Yeah, you can't fight the tape, but the thing is, if there was going to be a time, I'm seeing a little bit of a perfect storm here, in
Are
that
you?
your VIX is at that level where it's either going to hold that level and maybe have a turn, or it's going to bust through that level, and you're going to see an 18 or a 19 print on it, and that would indicate that this stuff is going to, just
Fly on out of there.
going to spike up.
Yeah,
And again, that is the way it's pointing already, so you have to respect that.
it's true.
On the other hand, like I say, if it started to break under 186, that might be a sign. If it broke under 177, that would be a big sign. And if your VIX
Well, look
starts
at,
trading 24, 26, 28 or something like that, then
Mhm.
obviously the things are changing.
Yeah.
But
Well,
these things,
this is pointing up, but if it comes down, it'll at least hit this DMA right here.
yeah.
Dynamic moving average. It'll hit that.
It's
175.
very interesting that they're right at their extremes of the sunny bands, which makes it very, very exciting on how it's going to unfold, isn't it? I mean, when you get to
It
the
is.
top,
It is. So
yeah,
you can follow. Well, look at this short move down here. Look how I followed the outer sunny bands down and down and down. Then it went
yeah,
up to the DMA flat. So that's a bad sign.
right.
And followed the bands on down some more until right here
Now, if you
with a
pulled
higher
this thing
high.
back, like on NVIDIA, if you pulled this back to a 5-year graph or something, what would the sunny bands look like on a longer term thing?
Oh,
I mean, do you have
wow.
an
Well,
ability to put it
that's
on
bullish. It's on a
Mhm.
monthly chart right now. You can see many years. So it touched the lower inner band and bounced off of that on a monthly
Uh-huh,
basis.
uh-huh.
That's actually very positive.
Oh, yeah, because it hit
It
that
didn't go on
support.
down to the bottom.
Right. And they're both turned up a little bit, so that's good.
Hmm.
It just tells you how wide we are between support and resistance on a longer term basis, because you've had such a big drop that a bounce back has plenty of room.
Yeah, it does.
And again, the S&P, they're moving a lot of moving averages. I look at there up near 4,400 or something, or 4,350, and then 4,275. So, when you're at 3,600, 3,800, there is plenty of bounce room. And if the guys who, put clamps on things, the Fed aren't going to be around for 8 weeks. You're going to find, and of course, all this news you hear, the futures positioning, they say, are as low as 2016. And you've got, Bank of America did a survey where retail people are out of the market at the most, and they have the most cash since like 01 or 08.
Hmm.
So, there is and again, these quant guys like Tom Lee and Kalanovic, they're believing that between positioning and over hawkishness, the vulnerability is for the upside right now. Well, you got to figure, using common sense, if anybody wanted to sell their stock, I mean, between 4,800 and 3,600, you probably did it, right?
Hmm. Well, but
And
they're not buying houses right now as much as they were. They were bidding up the houses all over the place in California.
right.
And now they're not so much interested anymore. Their
No.
interest rates are higher and the prices of houses are too high.
Yeah.
So they've got cash in their pockets they don't know what to do with.
Right. And of course, if they start seeing something make money, like they've seen in the last month in the stock market, they feed the thing that's working.
That's true.
And stock prices have been working since the middle of June. And in fact, they've worked in a very big way. And that's going to attract money, especially since the other things like real estate is slower, and gold is up a little bit, but it certainly is not roaring like the stock market. So it's gonna be attracting capital when it's making money for people. People follow they follow whatever's working.
They follow the tulips.
Yeah. Let's throw up a couple of things that I have been doing quite well in for a while, and they're actually starting to accelerate a little bit here. Put up, see if there's anything going on with PAAS. We're going to look at a couple of metal. We're going to look at a couple of metal things.
What do they do?
This is a silver company called Pan America,
Silver.
and it was down at 17, and it's starting to make a move. I'm wondering if it looks like it's going to really go someplace, or if this is just a pop and drop.
Pop and drop. It hit the upper inner sunny band right there. So it could go on up to the outer. Purple's on top, but it's turned. So I'm going to see that gold's going to be on top pretty soon. Yeah, I think we're going up to 21.31 at least.
Well, it picked up 5% today, so it wasn't a bad thing to own. Let's go over to industrial metals, Cleveland Cliffs, because that really has been a good deal lately. CLF.
Oh, it has been
Yeah.
for this month, I guess, or last month, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Good.
16, 17, and now it looks like it's trying to get going.
Mm-hmm. And
Uh,
it's reaching for that outer band, and gold is on top, so that's bullish.
Yeah, because today was up about 5% as well, so that's not.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, so you can see 14, 15 wasn't a bad bargain down there.
It was a good
But
bargain.
we'll have to see what's going on afterwards.
Right at that yellow dot would have been a great place to get in, wouldn't it?
Yep. And GDX had a pretty good time of it too today, and it went down to like $24, and now it's starting to lift up a little bit.
Up almost, well, it's up 3.5%.
Yeah. So it had,
Wow.
these are some of the ones that are starting to kick in, and I don't know if they're going to continue or not, but it looks like they're trying to anyway.
Yeah, it looks like this one's going to try for 24 or 28, 28.89 up there. So that'll turn the sunny bands up and the gold will go on top. It's been a buy signal from back in here when this was green. So I
mean, some
that's
people
a good-
could be making a case that the central banks around the world are losing control because they're supposed to be tightening money and credit and things are supposed to be slowing down. And that's not exactly the way it's working out. And so that could either mean that these guys have got to get very more aggressive, or they're so far behind the 8 ball that things are going to get out of control a little bit financially, and ergo, that's why they want something tangible behind them. That could be what's happening, because the Fed's balance sheet, they went from about 4 trillion and change up to almost 9 trillion in a very short time, and now they're trying to drain the balance sheet, but they're only draining it at like 60 billion or 90 billion or something like that. And that is very slow. It's kind of like if your house is flooded and you're kind of taking the water out with a teaspoon. And you know what I'm trying to say? I mean, it'll either take a long time or it'll never happen. And if people think that this is, getting out of control or going too slow, maybe that would make the metals get a bid after coming down so far. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's something. It's something to keep an eye on. Another one is
here's what gold's done last couple of weeks.
Yeah, like I say, if it is turning, and a big if still, because it's really just having a dead cat bounce as we speak. But if it is a legitimate turn and we start seeing 1825 or 1900 or something like that, it could be because people have lost confidence in the central banks. I mean, Turkey has an inflation rate of 80% right now.
Yeah.
So things can get out of hand. A couple of other ones that did pretty good is in travel, Hertz, HTZ. There's not that many rent-a-cars out there. And
we have a couple of requests too, if you take a look at the chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit them in a second. I just want to hit these two real quick because they're working and maybe they'll keep working, HTZ is Hertz.
Yeah, it's up there.
Okay. And you can see that's
we've got a channel. That's sideways channel there on this one. It's right through here. So we'll probably make it up to that line. Whether we'll go up above that or not is questionable, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it's hit the channel, tried for it again, hit, and it hasn't hit yet here.
Right.
So
and
that's
the last one was MGM Grand. They just made all kinds of money, MGM, and they don't have much exposure over in
no, look at that.
In China.
Are they trying to get exposure in China?
No. But the fact that they're not in a town that's all closed down. I mean, people have been coming to Las Vegas and spending money because, again, pent up demand is something to be talked about. And this thing has been a very nice place to be. It had a big drop from 45 down to 30. So obviously, that's another classic case of everybody getting it wrong.
Yeah, and right there is where the attractor is. You see the lows here and here.
Yeah.
Try for it again here. And we are right at that attractor. And it's on a red candle.
All right. Well, we've got some new ones up here, so I'm gonna give them to you. We got McDonald's, Applied Material. I'll write them down.
I've got it.
FedEx. LPLA. Another one like
GNRC,
Bristol Myers Squibb. Let's see if we got any others here that I could look at.
Atom, ATOM, GNRC, FedEx, ABBV.
Generac, huh? Get those generators before the winter comes, huh? Is that what's going on? Let's go check out some of these. So start out with when we start out with Generac, GNRC.
Okay. We've got another sideways story here, and it hit the attractor and fell down. And that red line that goes above the outer sunny bands and hits this center line, that's bearish.
So this is
But-
McDonald's you're looking at now.
No, this is GNRC.
Oh, okay. Because we have a little bit of a delay between when you do it and when it comes on my screen. I don't know if everybody has
really?
that. Yeah, it takes about a 5-second differential.
Oh,
But anyway, so this thing looks like it had a pretty good turn down today. Yeah. So this is another classic case of the sunny bands. They peek through it. They make it look like it might be going up. And then the next thing you know, they can't hold it. So
right.
that might be a warning to people on the top. A lot of those stocks, they're at the top of the sunny bands. Just
Mhm.
because they break through the top of the sunny band, if they can't hold it, it might just be what they call a false breakout, right?
Right. And well, you can see this on this move before this year. Go up to the top sunny bands
Yeah.
and then crashing down.
So it might
Well,
be interesting if
there you
it does pop tomorrow, maybe it's more important where they take it home.
Well, I don't know if it's going to pop tomorrow, but see this DMA.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the general market.
Oh.
Because you remember how we established that Microsoft and Apple and the market, a lot of the stocks are at the top of the sunny band.
Yeah, let's look real quick. Yeah, see there, and there's the S&P futures. And
Yeah,
you
so-
can see it's at the top of the sunny bands.
Yeah, so if it pops through on some kind of jobs report, but then they take it home underneath the sunny bands, that might be a sign of
Yeah, that's a good
reversal.
likelihood. Good
Yeah.
likelihood.
Or even if Monday they turned it over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was just a thought that I had that I thought maybe people might find helpful because, sometimes these sunny bands are violated. And then if they can't really sustain above or below and they reverse, that's some of the better signals, really.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Anyway, let's get back on course here. We were looking at Mickey D's.
Tell me when it pops up on your screen.
Yep, we got it.
Okie doke. So it's bearish.
Yeah.
Hit the top sunny band, turned red and came down. We've got to move down to the 256 level yet.
And this is more of a defensive. So you can see that the tech of, the Microsoft, Apples, et cetera, are still doing a lot better because there's a ratio between growth and value that turned in May. And ever since May, it would have been fabulous to be long tech and out of value because it's totally outperformed. Yeah. Next one is AMAT. That's your applied materials. See if we can pop through these things quickly.
Okie doke. Same story. It's above the sunny bands, above the outer band. We're moving up. We've got gold down here on the vertical lines.
Yep.
It's moving up.
Another example of growth
Right there.
growth in tech outperforming value.
Mm-hmm.
Next one up is FedEx. The poor child of the UPS FedEx. Oh, looks like it's coming up. Yeah. It's been matriculating to the upside, huh?
Yeah, it has been. And we've got an attractor that's going to hold it on up a little higher. We'll probably test this 248.76 level right there. So that's 20 points.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. LPL. Is that the private ledger?
LPLA. That's what they asked for, LPLA.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, LPLA. Yeah. Let's see what they're into. I'm
And
not
we're
that
going,
familiar with-
we've already gone
Oh,
and
yeah.
tested this top yellow button, yellow
Uh-huh.
dot. So we've tested that. We'll have to break through it for anything else to happen on the other upside, else it's going to come right back down into this area
Yeah.
or further. Because look at this, it went up there really high and then it just fell right down again. So
Right.
that's a possibility. So if you're going to go long that thing, wait till it breaks out above that yellow dot at 220.
Yeah, I'm trying to just see one thing real quick. Yeah, they're the brokerage firm kind of thing where they're an independent broker dealer. So obviously, with the influx of money from the sideline and the influx of people getting back on board, obviously this company's been making out pretty good, I guess. Okay,
LPL
next one.
Financial Holdings.
Yeah, they kind of are the clearing people for a lot of registered investment advisors and people like that.
Oh.
Bristol Myers Squibbs, BMY.
It's going down. It's lower than the previous lows right there, the nearby lows. Purple's on top, it's going down. So we've got a,
Yeah, I had a little bit of delay
Tractor.
again. So now, yeah, this thing's another one holding on for dear life down the bottom here, huh?
yeah, and it looks like it could go on down to 69.72.
Yeah. You know, these drug companies and healthcare companies, if they get onto the wrong drug or the wrong, report, it can go down pretty fast.
Yeah,
Because if you look at the other ones, let's look at since this is the drug, how about Merck and Pfizer, PFE and MRK? Might be totally different stories.
there's Merck.
No, they don't look different.
Is it to you yet?
Yeah. Oh no, we got it. It's in the
Okay.
south. How about Moderna Mrna? That's one that people like to watch, and I think they just announced very good earnings and buyback, a big buyback. So what's
Yeah.
mRNA?
They had an eight points up today.
Yep.
They had like 3 bars in a row that were aggressive right there. They're
Yeah.
right at the attractor,
Yeah.
but I think they could go on up to 210.
Yeah. Because this company announced good earnings and a big buyback. So obviously the totally different story than Bristol Myers too. Okay, next guy up is ATOM.
Michael says SQ. We'll try that in a minute.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, we're right at a heavy attractor there on Atom, whatever that is.
They're in Los Gatos, California. So I like where they're located.
Gatos.
Los Gatos, yeah. And
lovely town.
Yeah, definitely. It's a community for traders, it looks like. It's a real-time investing ideas company. So I guess they're getting some action over there. But yeah, they're certainly getting, might be like a meme stock for all we know, right? How about SQ for that other gentleman?
That other gentleman. Popped up on that, but we're not above here yet. You see this sideways DMA right there tells me that that's resistance overhead. And it's got lows back here. So we've got an attractor that's right there holding that down. If it breaks that to the upside, then all bets are off. It's going even higher.
Yeah, it has some good momentum right now. Yeah.
Next level up's 125.
Yeah. How about PayPal real quick? PYPL, that one's got some legs. It went over 100, then it backed off. Is it got and they're buying back $15 billion worth of stock. So, that's not chump change.
Yeah, that looks like it's got some ways to go up yet.
Yeah.
We've got gold on top here, gold on top there. We've got some movement up to the 121 level.
Yeah. It went above 100 and got everybody in there. So it might have a short-term pullback, huh?
Right. That wouldn't be surprising.
And what about, is there any other ones you see up there?
Let's see. Did we do ABBV?
Oh, no, AbbVie. No. I wonder if that's much different than Bristol Myers. Let's find out. Nope, same story. The big guys, Merck, Pfizer, Bristol Myers, these guys, they're all under pressure.
all under pressure.
Just the vaccination guys, you know, the Modernas, you know, they seem like maybe there's another variant that everyone's going to go for, you know.
Maybe that, or maybe the fact that they're doing a vaccine with live virus or dead virus, but virus instead of gene therapy.
What about MS? Gentleman likes Morgan Stanley. I guess he likes those bears over there, like Mike.
Well, and I'm going to trend line that's like about here. So we're above that. That's a good sign. Gold is on top, both charts. So we've got some, we'll at least move to there. What is that? 86 something?
Yeah.
We'll at least move to there. And then we have to see if it breaks out or not.
Well, like LPL is a financial company, and the XLF has been doing pretty good. And so obviously it's in that same genre, and that's why it's not a bad sector to be with lately, no doubt about it. Hey, we're coming up to the top of the hour, and we're not going to let you off the hook until you tell everybody how to get a hold of you and exactly what you're going to do for them when they do. So.
Well, it's easy to get a hold of me. I'm at Sunny, SUNNY at moneymentor.com. And I'll put my phone number in the chat. You can call me. I love to chat with traders. And here we go. You can go to moneymentor.com, find out everything you want to know about me. And I'd be happy to give a good discount to anybody that wants to buy Sunny Bands today. Just give me a call.
Sounds good. And they could incorporate it into their research and take it from there.
Right. And I teach you exactly how I use it for free.
As far as the option professor is concerned, we do have that PDF report. It's called How to Hedge Against Market Declines and Upside Surprises. And basically, in the last month and a half, a lot of people have been very surprised by this advance, but you could have had a hedge on, and then the advance would have been at least you would have had some exposure to it, and it wouldn't be a situation where they catch you on one side or the other. And again, as we said, we're at an extended level here where it could break either way. So we think this is very important information for people to know. So if you go to optionprofessor.com, put in your information, we'll get a hold of you and get the information sent over to your inbox. So that's optionprofessor.com for the hedging up or downside risk in the stock market PDF report. Sunny, it is always fabulous. I think the participation, I'd like to give applause to the crowd here who put in, they definitely participated. We appreciate that. Yeah. It's very interesting when they tell us what they want to hear. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Yeah, there would have been more if I had fixed the chat thing sooner, but figured it out eventually.
Yeah, and that makes it helpful on for both of us. You know, makes it interesting for us. We get to learn about different stocks that maybe we're not following. So it's a good value to both the speaker and the attendee. So that's good. All right. Well, it's back to David Kosmitter, the boss of bosses here. And thank you, everybody, for coming. And check out us, moneymentor.com, and definitely check out optionprofessor.com as well. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thanks. Yeah, ton of good info today. So just a quick reminder for everyone, be sure to subscribe to Timing Research on YouTube and your favorite podcast app. And you can also just go to TimingResearch.com. And the post at the top of the page will become the archive as soon as I can get that ready. So just want to thank Sunny Harris of MoneyMentor.com for being here today as our guest, able to sub in at the last minute. And of course, we'll try to have Jake back for a future event when he's available. And I want to thank the Option Professor of OptionProfessor.com for moderating. And that's all for today. Thanks, everyone.